There's this graph that talks about the 5 X's of an entrepreneur. Have you heard of it?
I haven't.
So I don't know the word for word, but the idea is you go from operator, where you're in the business doing everything, and then you go to running the business, right, where you exit kind of out from the day-to-day and you're overseeing it. Then you go from there to where you actually find your number 2 or the guy that takes over for you, and that's the next ascension. I think number 4 was moving from overseeing to actually being removed, and number 5 is complete, like selling you equity from the organization. It sounds like you've moved while you sold some equity. You did move to now where you're overseeing that person who's the guy. Is that correct?
When you say overseeing the person, who's the guy?
So the CEO, like you work hand in hand with him, and he runs the organization.
Yes. So he actually more so oversees me. Like I gave myself a boss.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I report to him now.
Dude, that's crazy. So how did that process, and like you must have gone through a process to find that guy, right? Or
yeah. So the main guy who helped lead the acquisition, he had a guy in mind that he knew would be a really, really great fit.
And it was just like that.
Yeah, and he's an awesome partner.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
That's good.
and I have no problem. So many people have egos about wanting to be the boss, wanting to be the business owner, the person. Like, that's just an ego thing. I know where my lid is. I know where my cap is, and my CEO has a way bigger lid than me, way higher lid. John Maxwell, law of the lid, and I can learn so much from him, and he can help me grow so much as an individual. I have absolutely no problem with being held accountable and reporting to someone, because I know it's going to help me and help the people in the organization grow to a bigger place.
Dude, that's cool. That's a good way of thinking about it, for sure.
It's a responsibility to the people. It's a responsibility to the business.
Do you ever have challenges on the ego side of the feeling of worth, or like the desire to be that?
When I started, yeah. But then once you start making money, for me it went away.
Because
I had ego when I was broke. And then when I started to make money, and I realized that money, what I thought was big money, once I actually got that, I realized it was small money. And I had more ego when I was broke, and then when I started to get money, that went away from me. And then I stopped caring. I stopped caring about wanting to be the guy. When I was broke, I wanted to be the guy because I was like, I had something to prove. And so people who don't have money oftentimes have a lot of ego, is what I've seen. People who don't have money have a lot of ego because it's some form of compensation. But I've proven to myself that I can be successful, and I don't need to satisfy anybody anymore.
Yeah, so I've seen that in people before, where they go through the transitions and then they become worthy, right? And I did that. I've been through that too, where I'm like, when I didn't have anything to stand behind, I would always be bragging about all the stuff I have. Like, oh yeah, I'm doing this company and this company, and like anyone who's legit can see right through that. Like, dude, you don't have anything. Like, if you truly were successful, you wouldn't be running 5 companies. You'd be running 1. So the same thing you talked about earlier on with the 7 streams of income. But that ego it does go away as you start to scale. But what I have seen, I'm curious about, is if something changes. Let's say you lost something, or you lost what you had. Would that ego come through again? Because let's say we took away everything you had, something devastating happened. Would the ego come up, or is the ego dead forever?
That's a really great question. If I lost everything, but do I still get to keep my information that I know now?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think it would go away. I don't think it would stick, no.
Because you could just recreate what you have?
Faster, better, more profitable. Yeah. Really, I mean, I really believe that. It's like you have awareness, right? Like, because it's also when you're broke, you're surrounded by broke. And so it's everyone battling each other, and everyone's broke, trying to show who's less broke. And then when I started to get money, I invested so much into myself. Groups, masterminds, 100 million, like inflation. Yeah, so invested in 100 million. Big investor into Cardone and his group and his community and all that. And I got so invested into personal development, and when the groups that I were with, and for a lot of people, they would say, Mo, look, you're very, very successful. And I got into rooms where I was like, holy shit, I'm tiny.
Yeah.
And I started to see like just how abundant money is, and like how normal people, just totally normal people out there having billions. And I'm just in groups with them, shaking their hand, having conversations with them, totally casual. And they're not flexing, they're not flaunting, they're wearing a plain blue t-shirt and jeans and Converse shoes, and they're worth like hundreds of millions or billions or whatever. And it's just like, it's so humbling when you start getting surrounded by people like that, and you realize like those are people who don't have any egos at all. They have no egos whatsoever. And like, yeah. And once you see that, and once you realize that, like you realize it's like ego is such a really great topic. It's people have this idea of like self-importance, and self-importance is often an exaggerated image of what one person actually is, and it's a tool for compensation. It's a defense mechanism, and it's designed to overcompensate for something that you're scared of. And so once you know you really have it, and you don't have anything to prove to anybody at all, and you're just confident in yourself, I feel that just totally drops.
Thanks for checking out this short clip from the full podcast I did. If you want to see another clip, go ahead and click the link right here. Or if you want to see the full podcast, you can click the link right here and check it out.